Elizabeth Morris, two of the actresses, and of course, the LA Slasher. I'm not a big fan of reality TV, so I don't hate it really. But I thought it was interesting to do a movie exploring this sort of celebrity culture. The death of reality TV is really, it's the tagline of the movie. It's more about exploring that, what is celebrity, what does it become, So that's what interested me, Plus there's, some cool actors as well, so.
As you can tell, our director has a slight accent. He's from Tennessee.
They were supposed to bring a translator, so I apologize.
We have the same problem with Carrie Ellis. So, tell me, as a producer, there's so many people that desire someone who will show up and make the money happen. What drew you to this project?
Well, I met Martin, and I met him like 3 days before they were supposed to start shooting, and he asked me to get involved, and I just liked him. I like the guy. He's very sexy. And, he had a lot of great ideas, and he had a lot of interesting things. He just seemed like somebody I could spend the next 2.5 years with, which is pretty much what's happened. So, it came together very, very quickly. I think we were finding it all the way through post-production, figuring out what it was. I think it really, really came together in an awesome way. But it was really a process of discovery every step of the way about who the slasher is, what he's trying to say, what he means to society. So it was a learning process, I think, for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I just thought I'd say that, just so you're aware, Brooke and Eric are coming. It's not some elaborate ploy we've got. So they are coming. I'd kind of like to throw over to the girls as well, here for them. Liz has a much more understandable British accent than me. We're filling time,
They saw the scene with Dave Bautista and Danny Trejo, so maybe you could talk about what that was like going and doing that.
Okay, so that was actually lovely guys that you could want to meet. Looks can be very deceiving. They're not that scary.
And such soft hands.
Yeah,
For being killers. And tell us about how you came into the film and found out about it and what that process was like.
well, that is a very long and convoluted story, but I'll tell you why I was interested in the project. I thought it had great commercial appeal. I felt like it could really appeal to everybody. It's just a very timely subject matter. Reality TV and just these false celebrities or people that are famous for being famous. Everybody can kind of identify with the feeling of those people being crammed down your throat constantly. And so I just thought, oh wow, that's kind of a clever concept to, everybody's kind of sick of them. And I felt like it was, horror isn't really one of my favorite genres. This isn't your typical.
Oh, hello.
Oh, let's let it. So this isn't your typical horror.
Definitely not your typical horror. I would almost go so far as to say it's not a horror film, but it does have horror elements to it. It's just fun and playful, and I'm very proud of it.
And now coming in the room in the back, we have
Brooke Hogan and Eric Roberts.
Give a round of applause. No, only 30 minutes late. You're good.
Sorry, guys. It's so quiet in here. You guys make the noise and make me feel so quiet. Thank you very much, darling. Oh, nice. It's gentlemen.
So we're talking about this film and what first inspired you to come and be a part of this experience.
Well, I love sci-fi movies. I like fiction, and I like getting all bloodied up. The blood actually tastes really good. It's very sugary. I just thought it was really, really cool, and I thought the concept. Hi guys, hi, good to see you guys. I thought the concept was really cool because obviously I've done reality TV, and I did it to actually help my music career. And then it seems like after a few reality shows like us and the Osbournes and everything came on, it seems like people that just acted crazy started becoming famous for just acting crazy. So I thought it was a cool little, kind of fun on real life.
And Eric, talk to us about your what made you interested in this production.
I love booger movies. I always have, and I have said yes to almost every booger movie I've ever been offered. They have to be really bad for me to say no, because I love making them. It's just fun. It's like being 8 years old again.
So what is your hope, the two of you, when people watch this film? What do you hope their takeaway is? What do you want them to walk away from this doing or acting or changing in their lives?
After you,
Well, I'm a big music fan, obviously, and one of the things that I loved about this movie was the music selection. So I hope some of the younger audience starts getting into the Billy Idols and the 80s throwbacks, because that really kind of got me. I like that. I hope that they, realize that you can have horror movies and good stuff like that families can actually watch. I'm a little bit of a wuss, so I was relieved when I didn't see absolute insanity that was going to make me have nightmares. Although I do have a real phobia for anything with a painted face. So when he actually is really near me, I don't even want to take a picture near him. A mime one time actually came up to me on Miami Beach behind me. I caught him out of my peripheral vision, and I literally ran like 2 blocks screaming down Miami Beach. I was like, no, get it away from me! So, I don't know, I guess I went off topic, but I hope people just, have fun watching it.
Wonderful.
oh, just sheer stark raving fear and entertainment. That's all I care about. Stark raving fear and entertainment. This guy with the clown makeup looks really horrifying. He looks so sad. It's really a good look.
Now, are you the clown posse, or what are you dressed as?
Captain Spaulding.
Oh,
This is
Captain.
Wright. I apologize for being late with Eric and Brooke, but we wanted to really commemorate Comic-Con and make everybody wait at least 50 minutes. They told us that we had to be out of here 50 minutes, so we didn't wait till the last minute. I'm the producer, executive producer on this film. I don't know what I'm jumping in the middle of here, so.
No, we've seen a couple of the clips of the show.
Okay.
We spoke a little bit about what their first inspiration was as director and producer, but as executive producer, the same question I asked your fellow producer here is there lots of productions, stacks and stacks to the ceiling, that would love for a producer to choose them and make the money happen? What inspired you to go this direction with this film and to dedicate years of your life to it?
Absolutely. There's tons and tons of options out there for films. When you're on set and people find out you're the money, that you're the executive producer behind the film, everybody's a screenwriter. We've been pitched with hundreds upon hundreds of scripts. You read through them. This particular script, it was the concept behind it that we liked. We got involved and with Martin and Liz and Abby, we did a lot of rework from the original script, the way that it was, and we made it a lot more of a fun movie versus sheer horror. Did anybody get an opportunity to view it last night? Yeah, so I didn't see it last night. We wanted to keep it light, fun, but there's still that horror aspect about this guy going around and killing these reality stars, or abducting them, abducting. Sorry. It's more fun. It's current with today's society and the social media, social networking, what it is today, and incorporate that in with the tweets, and I think it's very relevant to today's youth, and everybody's always on their phone and tweeting this, I'm here, I'm there, and it kind of pokes fun at today's society. So.
Perfect. Let's open up to some questions. Oh yeah. Oh please.
Can I interject here just 1 second? I also want to add that another way that it's very relevant right now, anybody can become a celebrity if you get X amount of followers on Twitter or YouTube viewers or whatever. Anybody can be a celebrity from anywhere in the world and have your own following, and that's what's kind of weird. It's like there's a bit of a social message there of what is fame really the most important thing? What the slasher himself kind of wants to put an end to that, just fame seeking for the sake of fame.
I want to clarify what you're saying though. With we're not poking fun at become a celebrity overnight because they had some YouTube video where they were torturing, doing something stupid, and they become a success, and it's a lot of talentless people. I think is what we're poking fun at. Those that don't.
Or people who are just chasing fame for just the sheer sake of being famous. So, whether it's like trying to have an affair with somebody that's famous and then doing a tell-all, or everybody, not everybody knows that's not.
I'm taking applications for affairs. I'm very married.
That's something that reminded me of, you asked me a very important question of what do I hope the youth and people get from this movie. You brought up a great point that kind of sparked something else in my brain. I don't think young women, young people today know how dangerous letting people know where your whereabouts is, saying so much, how it is not only to your actual whereabouts, your safety, but also just in your personal life too. I think a lot of younger people now are going to go through more emotional or psychological things with just the cattiness that's on there. It takes bullying to a whole new level too. So I think this kind of is like, watch what you say on Twitter, kids. And you're gonna get chased.
Hold something back.
Yeah.
So let's open it up, but when you ask your questions, ask them to a specific individual if we can, to try and get through as many people as possible. Yes, please.
So the fact that I even have to ask you this question leads to your acting ability. But when you were in TNA, was most of your stuff with Mark, was that works or shoots, or was it a mix of both?
With Mark.
With Bully?
Bully, right?
Yeah.
See, I'm not supposed to tell you guys that.
That was years ago, come on.
There was a little something going on there. I did actually really like him. And yeah, I mean, things got pretty serious, but I think it was almost like, and he had made a joke about it when we were not filming, and it actually kind of gave me that woman's gut intuition that I was like, red flag, that seemed off. He goes, life imitates art, and art imitates life. And I was like, what do you mean? And I don't know if he was maybe
That's a lame line.
Maybe he was trying to kind of pull on my heartstrings, maybe to up his career or anything like that, but
he needs lessons.
I don't like him anymore.
When you're in scripted reality TV, you are contractually forced to sign that they can sue you for millions of dollars if you reveal anything about the not reality part of scripted reality. I was recently on Pawn Stars and they had me bend a spoon from the Titanic. As far as I know, no spoons have been brought up from the Titanic. So, it's a problem. Good, next question.
I didn't sign any of those, but...
Yes.
Either one of you, I feel like there's kind of like the elephant in the room here with this movie and like what the subject matter. Kardashians, love them. I love them personally. But do we get to see any type of persona like that in this movie that the slasher kind of targets, or?
So you didn't see it last night?
I didn't.
I
didn't know about
your question.
I'm sorry.
It's playing Saturday at midnight. So.
Yeah.
Oh, it is? Okay,
I don't
cool.
want to spoil it for you, but yeah, you're gonna.
I'll just have to go see it. Okay, got
You're
it.
gonna
You'll see some
who
Kardashian
you are.
Okay.
Saturday at midnight where? What room? Do we know?
It's at the Gateway Cineplex.
At the Gateway Cinemas, Saturday at midnight. They're going to screen the film. You can see it here first. Yes.
Okay, I have not seen it, so I'm kind of wondering if it's just straight up like one after the other / or is it more like the impact that it has on other people,
Don't tell her.
Is it a comedy reel of it killing different celebrities, or is it a full theatrical?
We consider it a social satire. We don't consider it a slasher horror film. It's much more about the comments on society. There's enough of a Booker movie to make Aaron happy. It's really, the violence is much more implied than stated.
I would say it doesn't rely on gratuitous violence for its entertainment. It's kind of, a lot of it is implied, it's not very much all over.
I really don't think Mr. Roberts would be in a movie like that.
Next little girl up front.
We've been told several times this movie's like genre defining, and it's it's not a horror movie. It doesn't fit into that box. It doesn't fit into the box of a comedy.
Well, it seems like it though. When you first like hear the name of it and you see the picture of it, you're like, oh, it's just another slasher movie, right?
May I say something from a viewer standpoint?
Yeah.
Just because I kind of feel like I had the same question before I saw it. The thing that I liked about it was that everybody that was slashed, they had a storyline. You got to get to know them a little bit, and you kind of invested in the characters a little bit. So it wasn't just like, boom, I'm knocking off Brooke Hogan, and boom, I'm knocking off Kim Kardashian. So it was cool. It had a story behind it.
All right, cool.
And it's so much fun to another background of who you're going to kill.
All right, next Steve. Yes, please.
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but
You're not
is
old
it
enough.
kind of yeah, but but is it just kind of like any other reality TV show?
This isn't a reality show. It's
Yeah, it's
actually
like
a theatrical movie.
Yeah, but it's like have like little based on like things that part of it.
It's based on a lot of reality TV. Every character is based on somebody who's you would
You're
know. Like the mayor is very much like the mayor of Toronto, Rob.
All right, our crazy clown. Here, let's sit.
How did Andy Dick get involved in the voice? That just seems so weird, but so genius.
He owed money. He owed money.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just think Andy Dick was just a weird choice. You know,
Yeah.
he's got that weird voice, and you expect a slasher's voice to be like, I'm gonna kill you. It was Andy Dick's voice doesn't sound like that. So we want the slasher to be kind of weird, a bit camp. Andy Dick.
Right.
He was just a perfect choice. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just.
It was genius.
Yeah, and we were on the fence if he was the best pick or not. Once we got him in the studio and he started laying it down, and he just kept going.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the stuff he was throwing out there ad lib, and it was very good.
Right on.
He was the slash.
It reminded me kind of like a weird mad scientist or something. Like
Yeah.
instead of it being all dark and creepy, he was like, I can't wait to kill somebody else.
With the horns in the back, big and loud.
What was your inspiration for the slasher?
Who was your inspiration for the slasher character himself?
God. George Michael.
I think Mark has a clown fetish, whereas Brooke has a fear of clowns.
If you've never slept with a clown, you haven't slept.
We have about 5 minutes left. Yes, the one over here. Why did you make him, of all colors, wear white?
Because it's the killer who just wears white.
It's a very simple answer that they're avoiding because we want to see blood. Simple.
Do you know what? That actually was what the reason was.
The answer is to show more blood. Yes.
I felt like I really got into your character most while watching the film, and during the dinner scene mostly, I'm trying not to give anything away to people, but did you feel uncomfortable getting that much into that role at that point because you have to act really weird?
During the dinner scene, was it strange to get that involved in the character?
She acts like that pretty much all the time. Silver's not out of
That
character.
wasn't, yeah, that wasn't. It was actually, funny story. The wine glass, the very first sip that I took of that, I don't think that there'd been some miscommunication with the production designer. So I took the glass, 10 a.m. actual wine. So I think maybe from that point it was kind of, I switched.
She was blind drunk. She was blind.
No, it was actually it was just the fun part was doing the scene twice, but once with the crazy, again I won't give anything away, and secondly when everything kind of calmed down. But the speaking to the animal, that's actually how I speak to my cat.
And children.
And children. Yes, that's how I speak to Abigail's children.
The gentleman in black.
This is Jennifer Roberts. We pulled up your name during a casting session. How do you do it? I noticed you had it seemed like 500 movies in the next 2 years.
Here's the thing. It's impossible for one human being to be in production for like 30 films at a time, which it has me in, like pre-post and ground production. Well, but what happens is when they offer me movies, they put them up there as if I'm doing them, and I'm not. So I could spend either all day in court or just ignore it. So I just ignore it. So every offer I have is up there as if I'm doing it. It's not happening.
And I must say, he does not have a day to spend in court. This guy is a busy man. He's been machining here today. So
even with that, the young lady in the back there.
Elizabeth, were you half tempted to take the Twinkie when you offered it?
What's the question?
Elizabeth, were you half tempted to take the Twinkie when he offered it?
Well, it's funny you should say that. I'm actually a celiac, so I'm allergic to gluten, so no, I wasn't tempted. Although I did try Twinkies once before. We don't have them in the UK, but I tried one before when I was about 10. And I really liked them, so I guess, yeah, I'm disappointed that I can't eat them. I would have said yes if I could.
And the Twinkie was a metaphor as well.
So from a Freudian perspective, what is a Twinkie? Let's see, somebody else, yes.
I have a question for Ms. Hogan. How do you personally deal with the backlash from being a socialite? You know?
Do you have backlash being a socialite, and how do you deal with that?
I think if you're ever in the public eye, you're going to have people hating you. I just saw a quote the other day. It says, you can be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and there's still going to be somebody that hates peaches. You know, I try to ignore it. I really live my life, my personal life, outside of social media. If I do tweet, it's from me out. I don't ever read the stuff that comes in. So I hate to sound ignorant, but I really don't pay attention to it. Because when I was younger, I did, and I was like, oh my God, I'm fat, and Perez Hilton doesn't like me, and I'm like, why do I care about this guy? What he looks like, you know? So it's all just kind of, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, and that's what happens, so.
Great answer. Well, we have to wrap up here. Let's get some closing arguments from the production and directing staff. Where would you like them to go? Give the name of the website again and where the movie's going to show.
That's www.laslashermovie.com. Please follow the Slasher on Facebook or Twitter. The Slasher tweets the character.
Yeah, tell all your friends. Please come to the screening again. Help us get it out there on social media. That's what we're all about. We want to show the world this social media product can go somewhere via social media.
I have one question for our clown. Did you do your own makeup?
I had somebody help, but I did.
It is really good. That's really nice.
So a big round of applause to LA Flash. Yes, from The Godfather.